Hi, friends, and hello, how's it going? It's lovely. Welcome back to Raving with Rua, episode number 15, by God. And this is my YouTube channel called Songs from the Rua Room, dedicated to singer songwriters from Belgium and beyond, as you well know. And thank you for joining me again here. Midnight, the witching hour here in Belgium. Why so late, you ask? Well, because I'm going all the way over to talk to the great Áine Tyrrell in Australia in a few minutes. But first of all, the usual advertisements. If you're a first time viewer to the channel or you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button for me. That would be great. That helps me build the channel and all that good stuff. If you'd like to donate to the channel, you can always do so, of course, at the usual PayPal link down there in the description below. You can also visit the shop on the website, theruaroom.com. Will take you to my little shop, my little winkle as they call it in Belgium, and lots of goodies there, and it helps to support the channel. As always, the channel is this stream tonight sponsored by the great people at G-Sharp Guitars, the world's finest travel electric guitars, and very proud to be associated with that great company. So yeah, that's it really. It's Thursday, the 13th of February. It's Valentine's Day in Australia. And I know my guest is probably going to get bucket loads of cards. She probably has to beat the postman off with a big stick, I'd say. But anyway, I'm going to talk to her, all going to plan. She's over there in Australia, I hope. Let's see if Áine Tyrrell is with us. She is. There she is. How are
Hey,
you? Hi, Áine. How's it
how are
going?
ya?
Did you like my Valentine's thing there? You like that
Yeah,
little,
that
little,
was
little...
great. I'm just waiting for the postman to
You
come
just
so I can
wait.
beat him off
Yeah.
with the stick.
With a big stick. God. Here's your 14 bags of Valentine's cards. So, yeah. I don't know if you're into all that kind of stuff, but happy Valentine's Day anyway.
Thank you to
And
you
good
too.
morning, Australia.
Yeah.
You were fighting fires last month, now you're fighting floods. Is that what's going on?
Yeah. So sorry for the bit of delay in chatting now, but
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
so we've been
okay.
underwater for a few days.
Lovely.
But the sun has come out today just in time for Valentine's Day, so
Yeah,
that's
but
good.
I suppose, after those horrible fires, the Australians are probably very relieved to see a bit of rainfall.
Yeah, there's a bit of rainfall and then there's a little bit too much rainfall.
Yeah, there's a
We're
bit.
edging towards we're edging towards a little bit too much,
Yeah,
but thank you for the rain. Yeah.
and what was going to say? So, it's really bad. It's kind of it's you were saying it's kind of emergency situation there, is it? With the
Yeah, where we are is considered a bit of an emergency at the moment,
wow,
and I think that's probably due to the fires having come through a couple of months ago here. Then the soil and
yeah,
everything is everything's unstable, so it means things can flood a lot easier. Well, that's what the scientists say.
that's what,
I'm no scientist here.
that's what they say. Yeah, but were you? Which part of Australia are you based in?
I'm up in the Northern Rivers, which is the rivers. So basically, there's a lot of rivers that can flood
Yeah,
near Byron Bay.
near Byron Bay. Okay, so the fires were pretty bad up there at the time, were they? Or
Yeah, so they came within about 5 kilometers of where I am. The Mountain Ardy fires, they were. Yeah, so it was
yeah,
pretty. We were having
two.
town meetings and crazy emergency vehicles all
Wow.
through town all day. It was
Yeah,
and
too close for comfort.
the smoke in the air is just like I mean. Clearly, we're from Ireland. We're not really, used to this sort of
No,
conditions.
no way.
So so like ash is falling like rain or snow. It was
Just
really
shocking.
eerie.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
eerie and scary. And I was following you a little bit on social media, and of course, what you were saying was what most Australians were saying at the time is that the government's response was ridiculous, almost
Yeah.
comical.
Yeah. I mean, you couldn't write it, I don't think, in a comedy skit.
No,
They disappeared and they've continued to do
really.
so in a time where, you need leadership. You need someone to lead. You need someone to kind of come in with a plan. And they're
Yes.
just like, oh,
Hands
you know,
off, not our
hands
problem.
off.
So almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you don't believe in climate change, and what's going on, I suppose that's their response is
Yeah,
But
are they kind of known to be climate change deniers?
oh
Or
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
very much so.
yes,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
massively. I mean, it's like the same swing to the right that England and America has seen as well, where
yes.
I mean, we're opening coal mines in Australia while the rest of the world is looking for renewable resources. So it's sad.
Correct and right. It is very sad. It is very sad. I just throw up a quick comment here from Rachel Black. Says hello, hello Rachel. Thanks for joining us here
Hello, Rachel.
today.
I know
She's
that one.
one of your peeps, is she?
Yeah.
She is.
She's definitely on the virtual cup of teas a lot.
Yeah, that's my next question. It was our mutual friend Davo Grin. He's a Irish man from the Banner, from Co.Clare, like yourself. He
Yep.
lives in Lay Up the Banner. So he was saying, have you checked out Anya's virtual cup of tea on Facebook? I said, no. And I said, well, she's, Áine Tyrrell is, Sean Tyrrell's daughter. And I went, okay, well, I'm a fan of Sean, so I'm sure I'm gonna be a fan of Áine. So I discovered you through your virtual cup of tea, and
Oh,
it's an
cool.
amazing. How many have you done already?
82. Yeah,
Amazing.
we're up to. Yeah, and they just happened accidentally. It wasn't kind of a design to do it, but because it happened,
Yes,
it
you were.
has continued.
Yeah, because I think you were saying that initially it started to crowdfund your first album. Is that right? Or how did?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I was in the middle of a crowdfund, and it's one of those ones where if you don't reach the target, you don't get any of the money.
Right.
And I kind of had 48 hours left, and I was $9,000 down or something. And
No.
thinking, how am I gonna do this? And also being aware that Facebook and Instagram and even emails, spam filters and all that sort of thing sometimes stop the people who actually really want
Yeah.
to hear what you're doing. And it was just that a friend that I knew had kind of supported my music all along and done everything with the 3 weeks of the crowdfund. She hadn't even known that I was doing an album again.
Wow.
So I was like, God, if she doesn't know, then there may be other people that don't know. And the only way I could think was just sit online and sing the songs of the album. And if people liked them, I figured it would do its work. And it actually just became the most beautiful thing because it ended up being like an 18-hour
I
bus
was
gone
going to say it was
mine.
a marathon. 18 hours
Yeah.
you stayed online.
Yeah. And when Ireland went to sleep, Australia woke up. So it was like,
So you had a.
I had the two worlds, and it's been beautiful because people like Rachel Black, who's on there, and lots of other really beautiful people who have joined my music community, because that's what it kind of feels like. It doesn't really
It
feel
is.
like a fan base. It's more
No,
like
it's a
this
community. You're
beautiful
right.
community that has evolved from those cups of teas that
Yeah.
it just started with one, and then I just was like, well, you're all legends. I'll do this every week for you.
And you have 80 what?
82, yeah.
82. And it goes out every Sunday night. Is that
Yeah,
Australia
I
time?
haven't
Yeah.
done 18 hours again now, though.
No, you haven't. No. Some of them have been epic, though. Some of them have gone on, past two, I think, have
Yeah,
they?
yeah, yeah. Oh,
Yeah, they.
yeah.
Oh,
They
yeah.
can go from 20 minutes up to whatever,
Yeah, sure.
2, 3, 4 hours, whatever.
Legend. Brilliant. I suppose what I love about your songwriting as well is not only do you write great songs on you, I think, but there is
Oh,
an
thanks.
element to there is an element of activism and songs of social conscience, I suppose, in your writing. I suppose would that be fair to say?
Yeah, I suppose it's a comment to where we are at the time in life, and
Yeah,
I'm very connected to a lot of those causes, and so it comes out through my songs, and I think where we are right now is exciting and scary at the same time, And if you have a platform, then you kind of have a responsibility to use it for something, and I feel that responsibility quite deeply.
I think that's a very good thing to do. And you're right. We're in as artists. We're in a position to do that. Very much so. Not just stand up and soapbox about it, but just as I said, use your voice for the greater good,
Yeah,
for the good of the of the world, and if it opens one person's eyes to a topic or
yeah. I mean, I've
you
had
know,
incredible experiences where, for example, I was out back Queensland, right after the election here, and the election
Yeah.
here swung very far to the right. And particularly Queensland is very conservative. It'd kind of be like the Texas,
Oh, right.
or the Roscommon, in Ireland.
Roscommon.
I mean, they were the only ones that voted against marriage equality. I think that's the only reason I'm saying
All
it.
right,
No
okay,
offense
okay.
to
I'm with you.
Roscommon.
Great.
But Texas kind of swung.
Yeah.
It's kind of that much more conservative.
Much more conservative.
And I was out there after the election here, and was out there with a comedian friend of mine doing a tour where we went to really, we were 9 hours into the outback, a 4-hour flight and then a 6-hour drive, and you're in the middle of real, farm, very rural, remote communities. And I was a bit afraid because my music is very politically activated, I would say, and definitely not to the right. So
And definitely not
so
to the
being
right,
out
no.
there. But it was beautiful because the sentiment behind some of the songs, for example, this song "In This House," which has a lot to do with Indigenous rights over here and respecting the country that you're on, and they could understand it from the viewpoint of their own land and their country because they're so connected to their land as farmers out there. And so they saw the song and they could take the message from me that came from that song because they could connect to it in terms of their own land and their connection. And so then they could kind of see it from a different point of view, which was for me one of the most powerful things that my music could ever do,
Yes, indeed, of course. And fair play to you for doing it. I don't have that song lined up, I think, here, but I guess they will find it on your YouTube channel. If you're new to this channel, folks, I normally don't ask the artists to perform live because whatever the internet does to it, it kind of squashes the sound a bit. So I tend to play YouTubes of the artists from their own YouTube channel, or find songs. So that's what I'm going to do. I want to talk to you about this song quickly, "The Rising of the Moon." I mean, your dad recorded this in 1999, I believe.
Yeah,
The great
that's
Sean Tyrrell.
it.
I
Yeah.
read that, yeah. And where was it from him singing it that you learnt it, or where are
Yeah.
the new lyrics? Well, it has new lyrics, right? Do you know anything
Yeah.
about the people who are behind the rewriting?
Yeah. And the rewriting came at around the time of the Good Friday Agreement, and wanting to revisit some of these beautiful old Irish songs that have turned into rebel songs, but giving them a new context in the world that we're living in now, and especially at that time. Where we were trying to find peace up north, and just the lyrics are stunning because the song is beautiful, but in its
Yes.
original form, it doesn't reflect a peaceful version of Ireland, do you know? And I think this new working of the lyrics honors that beautiful melody and the original intent in terms of message, but without the need for violence or that. And I think it's a timely message. This song is one that I think stands the test of time because it's a timely message for anywhere in the world, really, at the rising of the moon. Let's all stand up and be counted at the rising of the moon.
At the rising of the moon. It's absolutely absolutely lovely. I'm going to play it for you. We'll come back and talk about Sean and your upbringing and life in County Clare back before you moved out. All right. So here is Áine, folks, Áine Tyrrell, and a lovely new version, a peaceful song, beautiful song. The Rising of the Moon. You'll know the old version very well, but check out this beautiful reworking.
As we wander through the universe on this dark winter's night, the children, they're all dancing and the stars are shining bright. One more word must now be spoken out, sung to an old tune. Let's be friends this new year coming at the rising of the moon. At the rising of the moon, at the rising of the moon. Let's be friends this new year coming at horizon of the moon. As we gaze into the stars that shine with wonder in our eyes, will we just destroy the planet, or is peace to be the prize? As a wail of fighting nations, it dims the beauty of the tune. Let's all dance a dance of freedom at the rising of the moon. At the rising of the moon, at the rising of the moon. Let's all dance a dance of freedom at the rising of the moon. May the wisdom of the ancients with their messages and signs come shining on our tomorrow with the magic of the time. Like the star that shone on the wise men, and like the dawn that's coming soon. It's a truth that guides us onwards at the rising of the moon. At the rising of the moon, at the rising of the moon. It's a truth that guides us onwards at the rising of the moon. We can live within God's garden if we tender with our care. We can understand the meanings, the motives of the fair. Though we stumble through the darkness, trying far too much too soon, let's all stand up and be counted at the rising of the moon. At the rising of the moon, at the rising of the moon. It's a truth that guides us onwards at the rising of the moon. At the rising of the moon, at the rising of the moon. At the rising of the moon, at the rising of the moon. Stand up and be counted at the rising of the moon.
Beautiful. Áine Tyrrell, what a version, what an absolutely stunning version of that.
Oh,
whole
thank
song.
you.
Really, who's
Those
the piper
bells
that was
were
with
an
you there?
amazing.
Weren't they addition at the end? Yeah.
And they haven't. We did 3 live takes of it, and the third take is the one that we used. And those bells chimed from the church across the road exactly at that
You're
point.
kidding.
Yeah, and so
they
we
weren't
all
put in
got
after.
no, we all got
Really?
goosebumps because we
You're
were just
kidding.
like, oh my God! As soon as I said "stand up and be counted," and then the bells went. It was one of those like, woo! And we were in Hyde Park Barracks there, which is where a lot of the
Wow.
Irish girls came through. That's those little cots and beds that we were walking
Yes,
through,
I
or
was
a
going to
lot
ask
of
you about
the
those. Wow.
yeah. And
Was
the
it
piper is Nick Martin.
Nick Martin? Okay. Living in Australia too, I assume he's living out there.
Yeah, an amazing piper over here. Jack Brennan trained a lot of incredible pipers all around Australia, and he's one of his students.
Amazing song. And well, I was going to ask you, growing up in County Clare, I was just before I forget, I have to give you lots of love from the bannerman, Dav Ogrin. He's trying to comment there.
Hey.
I think he and some people are finding it difficult to comment at the moment. I think through Facebook, but some of Facebooks are coming in. Hello, Annegien from Belgium.
Hello.
Thanks for joining. Dav Og sends his love to you,
All the love back,
Áine,
Dav
all the
Og.
love back. He loves that song as well. He's a great musician down there. But I was going to ask you, what was it like? Was it all Ceol agus crack growing up in County Clare? I know you're out in Australia 10 years now, but I mean, going right back, what started was it your dad or was it something else that kind of kick-started the music for you?
Yeah, I mean, music was always around the house, clearly. And what's more is that there was lots of musicians around the house as well. I mean, Dad had, such a beautiful way of bringing in people, incredible musicians traveling from all over the world that would
Yes.
stop. And he still has this weekly session in Greens in Ballyvaughan where, so to kind of go from the house to Greens, and we were kids, and kids and pubs was all the fine back
Yes.
then, and we'd be kind of hiding under the table listening to music, and not just traditional music. I mean, Dad's a banjo player at the start and an incredible traditional musician, but also he just brought in incredible musicians and they would blend all different kind of crazy stuff in this little corner in Clare.
Isn't that so?
Yeah, so I think not only Dad's influence, of course, is massive, but also his open door to have so many musicians come in and out, and that was a beautiful way to have started.
Oh yeah. Did you have brothers and sisters as well who were into it?
Yeah. I mean, none of them. My youngest sister plays the piano and brilliant, and the older ones they play, but they don't do anything professionally. I'm the only one cracked enough to give it a go.
I know the feeling. You and me both are. Yeah, but and then you left 10 years ago. You're saying and moved out.
Yeah.
Oh, and were you always in that area of Australia, or was it somewhere else?
No, I came out at the time of the recession. Well, which one now?
Yeah.
In Ireland, but yeah, and I feel a whole generation of us spread out across the world at that time. Anyone in their 20s to 30s sort of didn't see a future for ourselves, for work and home owning, and I suppose this is what the election in Ireland right now is, I think, swinging back towards the left because of so many of us that have left, and then the devastation in Ireland that's been left behind with the housing crisis and everything.
Yes.
At the back
previous
of that.
governments didn't do anything.
Yeah,
there's a
I
lot
mean,
of
at the
damage.
time, at the time we emigrated, I remember the Taoiseach just being like, it's okay, we'll solve the problem. All the young people are going to emigrate, and it was kind of like a kick out the door to a lot of us, So I came out here kind of thinking it'd be a year or two, but that quickly turns into 10 somehow.
I know. Yes.
So, but
Yeah.
I do miss home a lot, and I've been home the last 2 years to tour, and hoping to extend that every year until I'm back home.
That'd be lovely. Yeah. Have you an Irish tour in the planning stages for this year
Yeah.
yet, or?
Yeah, working on August and September and October at the moment, so looking to be
that's-
home for those dates.
Great, and I assume everything will be on your .com, on your Tyrrell.com. We'll get you
Yes.
all the tour dates will be
Yeah.
flying
And
in
hopefully
there.
make it over to Germany. Who knows? Maybe Belgium as
Yeah,
well.
who knows? Well, yeah, we're
Yeah.
we're all in that kind of area. Yeah, I'll be watching some
Yeah.
RWR. Maybe I'll come and actually record you singing a song. That'd be lovely
Brilliant.
too. That'd be fantastic to have that happen for sure. Have you been out this neck of the woods before, or as part of
Yeah, well, I played in
Holland, Belgium?
Germany. Yeah, I played in Germany and Amsterdam and France, Italy, and Slovenia.
Lovely.
It was at the time I recorded my new album. It was before we went to Ireland, so that'd be 2.5, 3 years ago now.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And of course your Facebook page, folks. Please give her a like as well. Áine Tyrrell Music. You must get a few strange pronunciations
Oh
pronunciations
yes.
of your name out there.
Oh God.
Try to say
Yeah.
pronunciation first.
Oh, yeah.
Pronunciation, Dahi.
And then their
Yeah.
favorite, once they kind of get it, which isn't really it, they love there's a phrase here called good on ya, where they
Get
say
on
they
you, mate. Yeah.
good on ya, mate. So then they're just like, oh, it's just like good on ya. And I'm
It's
like,
just like good on ya.
it's really not that, but
Good
it's
on
okay.
you. It's really
You
not
can
that,
have it,
but close
Australia.
enough. It's good on you. That's fantastic. Good on you. Yeah, it's like Dahi here for the Belgians. You know, it's like
Oh
it's
yeah,
yeah, it's lots of different dainty and lots of different things.
tighty.
Yeah, or dirty.
Oh no.
Just lots of no. Not too bad. It's not too bad, but yeah, that happens. I suppose the Irish we have these strange names sometimes. You know, people trying
Yeah.
to get people to
I think
pronounce
it's all
them.
the vowels. They can't
It
deal with
is.
all our vowels.
Yeah, and fathers. Forget about fathers. I had to remove all my fathers. I just said, there's no
Yeah,
way.
true.
I'm not getting rid of those fathers. But tell me a little bit about the song Blank White Sheet.
Yeah, so that one's from my first album, and so we grew up in the Burren in Clare when we were in Ireland. My mum is from America, so I spent time over there as well. But when we were in Ireland, we were Clare based. But my dad's family are all Galway, so
Yeah.
we actually spent a lot of time in Galway city as well with my nanas and my cousins and all the like. And my nana had a massive influence on all of us, not just me, but she just was one of those nanas, you know. And her phrases and her bits of advice, they live on, you know. I mean, her birthday was the other day. She was born in 1916. She always said she was a rising baby. And so her phrases and her advice, they still live on in us and in my cousins and everyone.
Yeah.
And so at a time when I sort of was needing it, my sister reminded me of Nana's advice, and she was like, you know, what's for you won't pass you by.
For you,
And
won't pass you. I love it.
and I love it, and it's one that, you know, I like. There isn't better advice, actually. You can forget the Dalai Lama or any of that. Like Nana had it.
Nana Tyrrell was the woman. That's right. Yes.
Yeah, and so I kind of needed it, and then I had it in a song, and people just loved the Nana phrase of it. And the video came about because I printed up these little they're little cuffs that say, you know, what's for you won't pass you by, and they have
really?
Nana Tyrrell on it.
Nana Tyrrell.
And they started spreading out across the world. And I was like, like Nana's living on people's wrists, you know, in France and in wherever.
And you sell those in your shop or just at gigs or?
Yeah, they're in the shop as well, and people got them online. So I just asked anyone that had one of her cuffs, would they record a little video of themselves singing along to the song, which is how this video came about.
So that's so you have different people kind of just singing along who are wearing
we're Nana.
Wearing Nana. What's for you won't pass you. A very, very true saying. And is Nana Tyrrell still with us?
She's not, but her words are.
Yes, indeed, her heart and soul is.
She would have been 104 if she was, so that'd be good going.
Wow, that'll be good going. Well, fair play to Nana Tyrrell for inspiring this great song from Áine Tyrrell. Black White Sheet, it's called, folks. Have a listen to this great song.
Four seasons can come in a day, trampling your dreams away. But from one drop a seedling it can grow. One begets another till you fill a meadow. What is for you won't pass you by. What is for a day when the earth trembles around you, but from the upturned field you'll see who you are. You got to pick what you need to rise your own savior. What is for you won't pass you by. What is for you won't pass you by. It's a blank white sheet. It's a space in between where you haven't dreamed your new dream. From the hill you can see that your meadow is ailing. All the sun is pushing through the clouds, appealing back to the shadows of the clearing. There's a little beam a shining and a dreaming. What is for you won't pass you by. What is for you won't pass you by. It's a blank white sheet. It's a space in between where you haven't dreamed your new dream. It's a blank white sheet. It's a space in between where you haven't dreamed your new dream.
Nana Tyrrell, you rock.
Hey.
What a lovely, and what a great idea for a video. That's so well thought of.
Did you see the Clare flag in there?
I saw the Clare flag in there, and I also noticed the name on the machine was called a dig pig, only in
dig
Australia.
pig. Yeah, that's it.
A dig pig. Only in
it.
Australia. Rachel Black is saying, lovely Nana Tyrrell song. This is great yarn that you two are having. Thanks, Rachel. I'm glad you're enjoying the show. I am too. It's lovely to meet you virtually.
Yeah.
It's we hopefully in real life one of the days. Who knows?
Yeah, this
So
summer or autumn, whatever it is.
Summer or
over
autumn,
there.
yes. I'll be stalking you from the wings. Anagine says, love it. Thanks, Anagine, for tuning in. Davog.
That's a beautiful
Davog
name.
is in.
Hey.
Anagine's beautiful name it is. There's, that's Davog.
Up
In
the
class.
banner,
Up the
Davog.
banner. There he is. There he is. I love the name of this fella here as well. Mugs Murta.
Brilliant.
Is it a woman? I don't know if that's a man or a woman, but fair play to you. Mugs Murta for tuning in wherever you're tuning in from. I love it. So it's great. We have some live chatters coming in and a few well wishes, which is great. But yeah, so you miss Ireland. You have still family there. It's a long way away, of course. I was going to say it's a long way from Clare to here. I won't. You never heard that before. Sorry,
I like
sorry.
that one though.
Well, no, let's not go there. No. But yeah, so you have like I said, brothers and a brother and a sister, as that you said. Yeah, all living
Yeah.
in Ireland.
I have some in America actually,
some in
and
America.
some at home in Ireland. But
Beautiful.
yeah, all the extended family, kind of all the cousins and
Yeah.
aunties and all that. Yeah, everyone's home. So
And where so apart from the the inspiration of your father and your other musicians, what did you start getting into to writing songs and what kind of a process do you use? Do you always kind of scribble lyrics, take notes first, or do you like to sit down and go, I'm writing a song today, start to finish? How's it go for you?
yeah, so my dad was getting some work done in the house, and I can't remember what went down, but there was a 6-string guitar left in the house, and Dad plays tenor guitars, which I also play now. But so there was just a 6-string in the house when I was about 16 or 17, and he was going to sell it, and I was like, no, I'll have it. And yeah, and I mean, early days, my mum was a massive Buffy St. Marie fan, and Michelle Shocked, and you know, a lot of really strong, Bonnie Raitt, really strong female voices,
Oh, like
Janis
a mum a
Joplin.
performer as well, or just like a fan of music?
Fan of music, but she was in the theatre world. She
Yes.
directed plays and did all that.
Yeah.
Similar world, but different.
Yeah.
But yeah, so but she had amazing taste in female artists, I think. So that a lot of that was strong in my starting off to learn to play guitar and listening to kind of those voices were really were really amazing foundation, I think, for starting. Now my songwriting process, I'm not the type that sits down and does it every day.
No, yeah.
I really try to follow the feeling. Like when something, I don't know, there's a book called Big Magic, Elizabeth Gilbert wrote it, and it's one of the best descriptions I've heard of my creative process, which seems to be similar to hers and a few other women in the book that she interviews, and men. Even Tom Waits was talking about a time where he's like driving across a bridge and this song idea came to him and he was like, I have no pen and I have no paper, like feck off and go bother Leonard Cohen right now, like I don't have the time to like get this one down.
Yeah.
And there is I get a really similar thing where this sort of culmination of maybe some things I've been thinking about or whatever will kind of like culminate to the point where it's like this needs to be written. And I just try to force myself to find the time to follow that intuition. And I've got 3 kids, so sometimes that's not always easiest. And it goes on the back burner.
Yeah, sure. But do you tend to like work on lyric first and sort of put music to it after, or does it kind of have to be this kind of one big package for you? Does it kind of have to come simultaneously?
A lot of the times they start and come together. The ideas for the lyrics, I think, form themselves and may not have been written down or been fully formed, and then I might see what's happening with the guitar or something with it, and then I'll go back and refine the lyrics themselves, you know, after.
Okay. Yeah. Until you have a complete
and then
thing.
kind of go back and forth, you know, with lyric and music.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I suppose it just differs from person to person, right? Everyone has their own kind of way of doing
And
it.
I mean, some songs like In This House, the one I was talking about earlier, that came in like one complete rush. It was done. Like the lyrics, the song, the whole thing. Like some of them are real easy, like, and they just like come through, and then you write it down and you hope to capture it all, and then the music was just there as soon as you picked up the guitar, you know. And then other ones are like a year or 2 year process of the same thing. Do you know what I mean? Where it's like, so I don't know. I don't know the answer.
No, but it's okay. I'm just kind of, you know, I'm curious about people's process. You know, I'm just, what I'm doing now is I'm gonna have a quick look on YouTube and see if that song is there. You'll probably know if it is or isn't.
Oh yeah, it is on YouTube. Yeah.
So maybe because we're talking about it, I'm just thinking maybe we should give it a spin.
Yeah.
Should we?
Yeah, sure. And the conversation is a conversation. That's kind of how I think a lot of songs start, in that you're talking about something or you're in a conversation about something, and sort of these things that find their way into your brain and then they worm around a little bit. And this one was through a conversation about a welcome to country, which is a ceremony and an amazing part of Indigenous culture here in Australia, where you acknowledge, if you're not from the area, you acknowledge the land that you're on, and the local Indigenous community welcome you onto that land. And it's a powerful moment always at the start of an event or other times that it's performed. And the conversation came with a young Indigenous friend of mine, Dane Kennedy, who's singing on the track in the end, because we invited him to sing on it. And the conversation was around what that means as a young Indigenous man now, because a lot of things, it's become tokenistic in some respects, where people just do it and is a emotion behind it and the feeling behind it. And, you know, he was just saying how important it is to do and to continue to do, because it's like a knocking on a door. Like, you wouldn't just rock up to someone's house without knocking. Right. And so that just like, as soon as he said that, it's just, I mean, being from Ireland, there wasn't a whole lot of knocking in Ireland either. And it just sunk really deep, like that, just that one sentence sunk so deeply into me. And this song is what came out after it. Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, let's have a listen to it. It's another gorgeous song from Áine Tyrrell, folks, and it is called In This House. Let's give it a go.
I can hear an engine rumbling from miles around. Sitting here, I can feel someone's on my ground. I don't need the dust to throw its hands in the air, 'cause I already know that someone is coming near.
What I wanna know is what you're gonna bring across the seas. What song you gonna sing into my breeze? Tell me what shoes you're gonna wear upon your feet. Wait, you and my land, they finally meet.
You can knock upon my door, but in between the knocks I hear so much more. In this house, that's not always on. This land, the land of fire and storm. When you come to the skull at my cobble crossroads, are you gonna tip your hat? Are you gonna tip out your load? Are you gonna listen to the laws and the rhymes that the man has told? Are you gonna trade in stories that have been bought and sold? You can knock upon my door, but in between the knocks I hear so much more. In this house, the light's not always on. This land, the land of fire and so I guess if you make it all the way up to my gate, you're just gonna have to sit and wait. And if the land wind feels you true, oh, the gate it'll open up for you. It'll open up for you. Open up for you. Open up for you.
Wow, another beauty.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Yeah. The video direction was beautiful as well. Do you remember who produced that video for you?
An Irishman.
Really?
Yeah,
Tell us
yeah.
all.
Living over here, and I just had said to him, did you want to collaborate on something? And the dancers in it are Banyara Culture Collective, who are traditional dancers from the area that I'm in. And all I had said was it'd be amazing sort of to do a video with them, and I asked them what they wanted to do, and Karma Barnes does those beautiful mandala, the earth mandalas. And so we just decided to all come together and see what happened. And we didn't really have much of a plan except, that we were going to make something. And it was just one of those really beautiful moments where creativity took over, and a beautiful end result. Everyone kind of came with such a beautiful intention that's very special moment.
Yeah, it was, yeah. And it looks like you had a beautiful sunset, of course. I suppose
Yeah,
sunsets are always
everything
beautiful.
just
fell
no,
into
I mean
place.
everything about it fell into place. It was just gorgeous. Yeah,
What album was that from, Áine?
that's from my new album. Yeah, Return to the Sea.
Return. Okay, brilliant.
Yeah,
Again, folks, if you want Áine's music, please have a look on AineTyrrell.com. I suppose everything is linked.
Yes.
Gigs, music, the whole shebang.
That's
Is, I was going to ask you about the the Aboriginal people there. Is that do you get involved in certain issues with the Aboriginal people? Are there societies or groups that you work with within those communities? Yeah.
Yeah, massively. One of the first, maybe about 6 or 7 years ago, I was put onto a double bill with a beautiful Indigenous singer, Yiramal, and their idea behind it was, I sing in Irish sometimes, and he sings in language, and they thought it'd be a really nice mix, and that started a lifelong friendship with Yiramal and getting to know a lot more about Indigenous culture here in Australia, because unless you look for it, sometimes it's very much the subculture, even though it actually is what has existed here for
Is it
60,000
really?
years.
Wow.
And so it's not, it's something that once I started engaging with different artists that I was working with on bills, and becoming more aware of the issues, it is very similar, I think, to a lot of the struggles in Ireland as well, with a colonized country, and how you come out of that as and your identity as a group of people. So I think the conversation in my music is very similar to the conversation in a lot of Indigenous artists. So it's a beautiful meeting place when we get to work together. And then through that, I suppose I've become more aware and more involved in a lot of issues that some of Australia just wants to shut the door on. And as an outsider, sometimes it's a little bit easier to point out and be like, hello, don't shut that door. That's a really important door to open.
Yes, indeed. I know. And as I said, that's again, going back to what we said earlier, using your voice as an artist to make people aware of that is a very good thing to do. And you do it very well, and fair play to you. It's commendable, and yeah, that's it. I just wanted to say that.
Thanks.
Yeah, keep doing that. We need more people like that in the world, not just in the music business. But,
well, I can't shut up. That's the thing,
That's why I knew you'd be perfect.
Even if
for
I
this.
tried.
I knew you'd be perfect for this, and it's great to have talkers on this. On this thing, my own father Martin Dunnigan is there from Shannon Bridge County Office, saying super
gorgeous.
stuff from Áine. Say hi from the outside. How are you, Dad? Thanks for tuning in.
Hello.
Thanks, Martin, for. It's the only way we get to see each other these days. Not really, but very nice that you're tuned in there, Dad. Fair play to you. Yeah, of course. Davo again saying class.
I thought it would have been a bit complicated for my dad to get on.
Maybe, yeah.
Even trying to tell him how to post something
is it? It's a whole.
Can take hours.
It can take a long time. Yeah. They didn't grow up with the net. I'm
So your dad is brilliant.
He's pretty savvy now. As we say often, he's a cute whore. He's
travel over to Clare and show my dad a few tricks, will you?
Oh God, if those two got together, there'd be trouble. Let's put it that way. There would. But I'm going to wrap it up in a moment anyway, Darren. I want to thank you very much for taking the time out. I know it's you have to battle floods and fires and all kinds of stuff to get children to get here this morning to do this. And I'm very happy we could do it.
Thanks a million for having me.
No, it was fantastic. I want to get another song in though before we go. I just thought it was a kind of an apt one to finish on. Hope See Me Through, and you're also singing with we have a beautiful backing vocalist on this song as well, Emily Wuramala.
Wuramala. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about this song, and you're playing the
Um,
banjo on this, which is lovely to see as well. It's great to
yeah.
see. My mother played the banjo, and always had a great love of banjo. Yeah, so
Gorgeous.
tell us a little bit of, well, first of all, for the instrument geeks, tell us a little bit about the banjo and about the guitar you play. Do you play a Gibson guitar? Is that right, or is it something else?
Yeah, so the banjo is part Gibson, a 1930 neck
Is it really?
for the Gibson,
Wow.
but the body is actually by Clarine, who are based on the
Yeah.
border of Galway and Clare.
Great
Yeah,
banjo makers, yeah, indeed.
yeah.
We'll give
So
them a plug. Great.
Clarine banjos are fantastic. So yeah,
Yeah.
as soon as I went down and I saw the Gibson on it, I was like, oh God, it's like the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
So I knew I had to
Beautiful
take it
instrument,
home.
yeah.
My friend Tony, another Clare man, Tony McTighe, an exceptional banjo player from Kilnamona in Clare, is the one that convinced me to get back to the banjo, because I had a banjo and I sold it when I moved out here, and I hadn't played for quite some time. So I got that when I was home in Clare. And then the Gibson is the dad's tenor guitar, an old one of his. It's a 1940s tenor Gibson.
Wow.
And then my own 6-string guitar I had made over here by an incredible luthier called Pete Daffy. And he basically modeled it off my tenor. So it's kind of it's a Gibson shape, but it's his guitar. And so a Daffy guitar, that one is. So the three of them keep me busy.
Yeah. Oh wow, yeah. Because like I noticed them when you did when you do your virtual cup of tea on your and I was like looking at these instruments when you were playing. I was going, wow, they're special instruments. You can even hear, the sound. Did you grow up
good.
playing? Did you grow up playing traditional Irish music on the banjo, or was it always used kind of as a strummy, songy instrument for you? Or
Well, I started on the tin whistle actually with traditional music, and then for me, just because Dad had a tenor and a banjo, the notes of that are kind of like really familiar to me, just from like that growing up, that sort of way. So I play in a lot of open tunings on the 6-string guitar. I think for that sort of reason as well, just because that was the soundscape that I heard.
would that be Dadgad or Open D or Open G, or is it
Yeah,
a special?
all of them.
All of those.
But I love Dadgad. Yeah,
It's okay. Yeah, just for the guitar geeks, just so we know, so we can we can watch it when you play live. And what tuning on the banjo then in this particular song?
The tuning on the banjo in this one actually. So normally my tenor I have in G D A D, sometimes G D A E. But Tony got me on to playing the banjo in A D A E, which kind of on tunes makes that the G just a little bit more friendly for tune playing. But I just got used to that tuning, so that's what it is, and it's capoed up on the 5th fret, I think, which puts it into C, as far as I know.
Right, wow, so it's kind of an A tuning. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow. And tell us about the song itself, the writing of it and the inspiration behind it, please.
Yeah, so the song, I was actually a few years back now, I was down in Victoria when some bushfires went through, not as close to what I was like here, but it was the first time I was around that sort of landscape. And when I was sort of making sure I was safe and looking into bushfires and stuff, I heard about this plant, which is a grass tree. It's a native plant over here, and it throws a shoot off after a fire, and then the rain that comes after a fire makes the most beautiful bloom from it. And this flower that comes only after all that hardship, just it really inspired me at a time where I kind of was down, and I remembered that grass tree. So yeah, that song just kind of is another one that sort of came out in one little go, just sitting on the banjo.
Just a wonderful metaphor for life as well. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really
What was the name of the
powerful.
plant? Did you say what was the name
It's
of the
called a
flower?
grass tree.
A grass tree.
Yeah,
beautiful.
and there's been actually recently there's been a lot of pictures of them popping up, and I've never really seen them around much before now, but with all the bushfires coming through, as the forest is regenerating in a few
Yes.
places, they're starting to come up. So if you Googled it, you'd find that. And Emily, who's singing with me, is an incredible artist. Emily Waramara. She's from the Northern Territory, from Groy Island, and yeah,
wonderful.
incredible.
Well,
and she came over
maybe-
to Ireland with me this last tour, and they renamed her in Ireland. So in Clare they gave her Emily McNamara, and
Emily
down in
McNamara.
Cork, and down in Cork they were like, she can't be McNamara, she has to be O'Mara.
Fantastic.
So here's Emily
she got
McNamara.
Emily McNamara on backing vocals, depending on which part of Ireland you're from. That's great. Well, I skipped a little bit forward. There's a bit of an introduction, but I'm gonna play it from around here.
Yeah, lovely.
A beautiful song, folks. Áine Tyrrell and Emily McNamara.
We'll claim Clare.
Wolamara, of course, is her name. Hope see me through. Beautiful.
Down there dealing with that, and to everyone fighting the fires. If I step outside, will I burn in the inferno? Will I freeze all up tomorrows? If I wager one the way, will the road look the same, or will the forest be forever altered? I don't know how to pray, but I'm down on my knees. I don't know what to say. I am begging, come see me through. Hope will see me through. Hope will see me through. If I raise the white flag, am I putting myself in the fire line? Will I be the ash or I held dear? Only way around is to go straight through it. I can already feel the embers falling. I don't know how to pray, but I'm down on my knees. I don't know what to say. I am begging, come see me through. Hope will see me through. Hope will see me through. Oh, billows rise to glory, orange skies are warning. Don't go that way, but I am gone. I am gone. Oh, in the heart of the grass tree, I survive even thrive in the fire. And when the rain comes, I'll flower. When the rain comes, I'll flower. I don't know how to pray, but I'm down on my knees. I don't know what to say. I am begging, come see me through. Hope will see me through. Hope will see me through. Emily Waramara.
I just saying what a lovely song that is, and what a beautiful voice that lady has as well.
Yeah, you'll have to check out her music. We'll get her on one of these for you.
Yeah, she's welcome anytime. But maybe when we have the link, when I edit this up and I play it back later on, maybe you can leave a link to her music
Great, I
in
will.
the comments. It'd be great
Yeah.
to hear her music, and she's always very welcome to come on and chat with me here, and we'll do a raving with Rua one of these days with her. But look, thank you so much, Áine, for your
Cheers.
time.
It was a beautiful
and your,
experience. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thanks for your time, your talent, and your energy. That song reminded me. I was looking at your social media. I think it was your Instagram, and there's a great photograph of you dancing in the rain, in the flood. It reminded me of that old saying that what is it, that life is not about avoiding the storm, it's about learning to dance in the rain. And it's a
Oh,
great
that's
old saying.
gorgeous.
It reminded me of that, and I saw you dancing
Ah,
in the storm today. So keep dancing
lovely.
in that storm, and
Yes.
keep out of the wind, and the rain and the fires, and look after yourself. And I hope to see you out here in Europe some part of
Yes,
the year.
definitely.
That'll be great. If you want to hang around after I finish off, we can have a chat backstage in
Lovely.
the green room, as they say. Áine Tyrrell,
Lovely.
thank you
Thanks
so
a
much.
million.
Slán go fóill agus gar míle
Sloan.
mágat, and thank you very much. We'll talk to you soon. They are, folks, the wonderful and the talented and the brilliant, lovely Áine Tyrrell, all the way over in Australia.